let me know if I have this right. You have 15 successfully operating businesses with over $154 million in revenue. Is that right?
We're a little beyond that now, but yes, yeah, that was pre 2020, 2020. I think we hit 180, and now we're at 18 companies. I have no idea where we're at this year, but it's more than it was then. And so yeah, we're having a ball, kicking ass, taking names.
Well, that's unbelievable. I'd like to first congratulate you on that success, and also I'd love to ask, what businesses make up those 15? Did you acquire them? Did you build them up? What's the story of that?
So let's see. I started getting out of the Air Force, and of course, I didn't get out of the Air Force in the right way. You know what they say to anybody that has a felony on their record. Your job opportunities involve the word waiter, and or can I pay you $20 for a lap dance? And let's just say I didn't have the qualifying materials for that job. So, you either go entrepreneur or you go wait tables or go into construction. I mean, that's what you do if you've made a few mistakes, and I've made a few. And so I went the entrepreneur route and eventually started flipping homes. And it turned out, flipping homes, that there's this truth that everybody tells you got to earn money, and it's the biggest lie out there. You have to create money. And if you're going to create money, when you go buy a product, say it's a house, and you buy it for 70, 80, 100 grand, whatever you pick it up for, you put 20, 30 grand in it, and you're selling it at 200, you're selling it at 250, sometimes more. I mean, you could be pulling 20, 30, 50, 80, $100,000 out of thin air because you put something back together the way it was originally intended. You restored something and somebody else saw a higher value than what it cost you to get it from point A to point B. That's wealth creation. And entrepreneurship is the process of wealth creation. It's not earning money. In fact, slavery never stopped existing. It just changed. Okay. It's no longer based on skin color or where you're from. Now it's capitalism. If you have a job and you're making, say $10 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever the low wage is in your market, you're a slave. If you look at slavery, it was bare subsistence. Well, bare subsistence now might have changed. You might need a car to get to work and a shitty apartment for your 3 or 4 kids, but that's still bare subsistence. So if you're barely earning the ability to subsist, you're a slave. And you need to find a way to get out of that. And, a lot of the shit that I say triggers people, but you know why people get triggered? Because they're prejudiced. They get triggered because other people are not allowed to have a different viewpoint, and other viewpoints scare them because they're weak. And so if you give somebody the truth, and they can sit back and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get triggered. I'm going to actually think about what this fucker's saying, whether I like him or not. I'm going to think about what he's saying. Then all of a sudden what starts happening, if you think about it, you either try to prove it wrong or prove it right. A lot of times you're going to find things that are right. It's going to change your life. When you get your emotions out of your way, your life changes, and then off you go. I mean, home flipping was first. God, after that, I had a couple realtors that were great salespeople, and they weren't great at what they did. And I love disorganized marketplaces, so I got into a brokerage, and then I started keeping property, and I got into a property management company. Then I came across a guy, and he was like, hey, how would you like to sell home warranty insurance policies? I was like, no, thanks. And he was like, well, you can own the business, and it'll cost $6,000, and you're going to make $100,000 a year on it. I was like, what? What's the workload? He's like, oh, dude, your secretary can enter it. You just sell your product instead of somebody else's, and we'll give you a reinsurance process. So I got into the home warranty insurance business, and I found out insurance is amazing for tax purposes, cash flow, low cost of insurance, and you're at a capital gains rate instead of like a regular income tax rate. And if you're doing reinsurance, which is not expensive to get into, then you have new opportunities. And so I was like, okay, that's good. Well, that got me into the title business, and eventually I got it started. I was already a home flipper, so I was in construction, and I made partnerships across the construction industry, some strategic partnerships, some, valued partnerships on just relationship driven purely. And then others we actually invested and we became part of their company, whether it was, a shareholder or a profit share, things like that. And slowly we worked our way in. Eventually I bought a home building company, and now I actually have a travel agency for high net worth individuals. So that's my only business, travel and coaching, that's not in or around real estate. But all the rest are either construction, manufacturing, business to customer, where we're doing brokerage or property management. We have a wholesaling company where these days we don't wholesale much. We pretty much just keep it all and then rent it out. But we also have a hard money lending company because that was a good one to get into. And so every time somebody sucked at what they did, I would open a business to do that. You know, I put a pool in my backyard, and I wanted a pool because, you know, my kids were growing up, and I thought it'd be fun to watch them swim. And I like hot tubs, right? And dude, getting people to service your pool sucked. So this January, I opened a pool servicing company. Now we have the premier pool servicing company in El Paso, and anybody that wants good service calls my company, and everybody that's tired of getting pissed off by everybody else they do business with calls my company. And so we've grown over 100 accounts that we're servicing with almost no advertising because we don't suck. I mean, most industries, people are they don't understand just one simple rule. Find out what the customer wants, go get that thing and give it to the customer. If you want to scale, advertise how well you can solve the customer's problem, and then, you know, your sale is that customer's solution to their problem, and everybody will pay for solutions. Like, there's nobody that's like, oh, I have cancer, I won't go to the doctor, fuck you. Like, nobody does that shit. That's a stupid thing to do. So, like, you know, when you can say, I have the solution to your fucking problem, and then you deliver on it and you prove it, you know how to get a raving fan customer, somebody that like absolutely loves you? Do the shit you said you were going to do. And then thank them for the business. They're like, what do you mean thank you? Like, most people just don't do the shit they say anymore. Like, we live in a world where the biggest problem we have is, oh, I don't feel like I should have any problems. That's a big fucking problem. But what is a business? It's a solution machine. What's a sale? It's a solution to a problem. So most businesses and most employees who are afraid and adverse to problems, they never accomplish shit. Yeah. At least at the level that they could. And so doing a great job and honoring your customer is number one. Communicating that is number two. And you can grow anything.